every hasty trading decision, every loss that makes you lose your composure is a sign that cortisol is in control. It's time to face it before it defeats you. Welcome to Day Trader, where we expose the raw truth behind the waves of the financial market. Here, we don't just talk about profits and losses, we dissect the psychology, mindset, and mental toughness of a real trader. 1. The harsh truth about cortisol, the stress hormone in trading. We often don't realize it, but in every trade, cortisol is one of the invisible factors that directly affects our decisions. Cortisol, also known as the stress hormone, is released whenever you feel pressure or stress. For a trader, it is the silent enemy, controlling your mood and patience. When cortisol is released, the brain struggles to make decisions and work logically. It makes us anxious, out of control, and prone to hasty decisions. 2. So, what is cortisol? Cortisol is a steroid hormone produced by the adrenal glands, two small glands located on top of the kidneys. This hormone plays a significant role in the human body, especially in physiological responses to stress. When you encounter stressful situations, the body automatically activates the nervous and endocrine systems to produce cortisol to help you cope with temporary threats or stress. Cortisol is released into the blood and stimulates the body to prepare for the fight or flight response, a natural defense mechanism. Moreover, cortisol also plays a key role in regulating many physiological functions, including controlling energy metabolism, managing blood sugar levels, maintaining blood pressure, and supporting the immune system. It also affects the metabolism of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats in the body, helping provide energy when needed, especially during stressful situations. However, despite cortisol's positive functions in helping the body deal with stress, if cortisol levels stay high for prolonged periods, it becomes harmful. When cortisol remains elevated in the body, it can cause many health issues, including high blood pressure, anxiety, reduced immune function, and particularly impairing our decision-making ability and clarity. What is worth noting is that cortisol is not only released in stressful work situations, but can also be triggered by other factors like lack of sleep, unhealthy eating habits, or even when facing anxieties in personal life. When the body doesn't have time to recover after cortisol releases, cortisol levels will accumulate, which can negatively impact both mental and physical health. In the context of trading, cortisol plays a crucial role in controlling a trader's psychology. When faced with market volatility or pressure from achieving financial goals, cortisol can cause anxiety and impatience. When cortisol levels rise, your trading decisions may be influenced by emotions rather than logic and clarity. Cortisol may make you take a trade too hastily or exit a position unnecessarily, leading to mistakes in risk management and unnecessary losses. In the trading world, decisions must be made with calm and calculation. But when the body is affected by cortisol, your decisions are more easily influenced by emotions. For example, the desire to exit a trade before it's time or the need to enter a trade immediately to relieve stress. This is how cortisol causes mistakes in trading. When you can't control your emotions and mood, your trading decisions will become inaccurate and ineffective. 3. How cortisol leads to mistakes in risk management in trading. Cortisol, the stress hormone, not only affects decision-making, but also weakens a trader's risk management abilities. As cortisol increases, the ability to think clearly diminishes, and emotions begin to dominate decisions. In a volatile trading environment, where decisions must be made precisely and decisively, the influence of cortisol can lead to serious mistakes in risk management. These mistakes often stem from anxiety and fatigue when you feel the need to act immediately to relieve stress. Imagine a trading scenario. You have just gone through a series of consecutive losing trades. For example, you lost a buy trade on the EU or USD pair when the market moved against your expectations, causing you to feel frustrated and stressed. Immediately after, you spot a new trading opportunity with the USD JPY pair, with a strong uptrend that you think will continue. The feeling of anxiety and frustration drives you to get back what you've lost. At this point, cortisol surges in your body, and you decide to place a large trade, despite there being no clear technical signals from the chart. You have only one thought in your head: I need to make up for what I've lost. This feeling of stress is a consequence of cortisol. When cortisol rises, you tend to overlook important signals from technical analysis, such as the absence of a confirming candlestick pattern or an important support resistance level that you don't recognize. Instead of waiting for confirmation, you rush into the trade just to relieve the discomfort. This is a classic mistake in risk management. You might enter a trade with a high risk ratio, such as buying when the price has already breached a strong resistance level without waiting for the market to confirm further. The stress and anxiety prevent you from sticking to the trading strategy you set out, leading to incorrect decisions. As a result, you may continue losing, and cortisol levels will rise again, making you take even riskier trades. Another example is when you already have an open position on GBP USD, and the market is not moving in the direction you anticipated. The price of GBP USD starts to drop after you bought, and you see that your stop loss is getting closer. According to risk management principles, you should cut your losses and exit the trade when you realize the market isn't following your prediction. However, cortisol makes you feel that you can't give up, that you don't want to accept defeat. You decide to hold on to the position, even though there's no clear signal from the market. The anxiety of the market will reverse makes you abandon the stop-loss plan and wait longer. But it's this impatience that leads to even larger losses because the GBP USD price doesn't change as you expected. As a result, you not only lose money but also feel more stressed than ever, creating a vicious cycle of failure and stress. Cortisol also diminishes your self-control and makes you prone to trading with a lack of discipline. In another situation, you may have lost a trade on AUD CAD and feel that you need to go big to make up for the losses. You decide to place a large bet on a single trade on the EUR-JPY pair, even though you know this violates your risk management rules. The stress and anxiety from not wanting to accept failure drive you to place a trade with double the usual amount. This is a serious mistake because you're accepting an excessively high risk compared to your financial capacity just to relieve the tension. As a result, you might face severe losses that are difficult to recover from. Cortisol also makes you unable to accept defeat and try to get back what you've lost. When you can't control your emotions and cortisol dominates your mindset, you'll easily change your trading strategy without proper preparation. For example, after a series of losses, you might suddenly change your strategy and decide to take a risky trade with the USD CAD pair, even though there are no sufficient signals or foundation from technical analysis. You might choose to trade based on intuition and feelings instead of following the plan you laid out before. This will put you in a situation with no clear strategy and make you trade based on emotions rather than logic and thorough analysis. All of these mistakes stem from cortisol controlling your psychology and actions. When cortisol levels rise in the body, your ability to control emotions and make sound decisions diminishes. To avoid these mistakes, you need to learn how to recognize when cortisol is affecting you and patiently follow the strategies you've set. Managing cortisol and stress will help you maintain calmness, make sound decisions, and effectively manage risk in trading. 4. How to recognize when cortisol is affecting you. Cortisol is a powerful hormone that can greatly impact the psychology and actions of a trader, but the danger lies in how difficult it is to recognize when it begins to affect you. The influence of cortisol is often very subtle and hard to notice immediately, as it gradually infiltrates your decisions, emotions, and how you react to stressful situations in trading. You will only realize that you've been affected when your decisions start to become chaotic, illogical, and inexplicable. This can lead to significant financial and psychological losses if not identified and addressed in time. One of the clearest signs of cortisol is hastiness in decision-making. When you feel stressed and under pressure, cortisol increases your anxiety, causing you to lose patience and no longer wait for clear signals from the market. Instead of assessing the market with a clear mind, you will feel driven to act immediately, regardless of insufficient information to make a sound decision. This rush can lead to poorly thought out decisions, such as entering a trade without adequate technical basis or exiting a trade too soon when the market hasn't completely reversed. This also arises when you begin to feel uncontrollable anxiety. Anxiety is one of the first signs of cortisol. When cortisol levels rise, your body will exhibit distinct reactions like a rapid heartbeat, restlessness, and fear. You might start doubting your trading decisions, even though you had previously established a clear strategy. This anxiety signals that cortisol is affecting you and diminishing your ability to think clearly. Instead of maintaining calmness and logical analysis, you become more susceptible to negative emotions, making decisions that aren't truly rational. Another manifestation of cortisol is impatience. In trading, patience is crucial to wait for clear signals that align with your established strategy. But when cortisol takes over, you become impatient, uneasy, and feel the need to do something immediately. For example, you may exit a trade just because you're anxious the market will go against your plan. Or you might feel the urge to enter a trade quickly, even though there's no valid signal from the market. These actions reflect impatience, one of the prominent consequences of cortisol. A further sign of cortisol is fatigue, especially when faced with too many decisions in a short time. Financial trading requires continuous alertness, and sometimes you must make a series of important decisions in a short period. When cortisol increases, you will feel fatigued even though your body hasn't been physically overexerted. This is a sign that stress has begun to affect your body and mind. This fatigue isn't just due to lack of sleep or work pressure. It's also the result of excessively high cortisol levels. You'll feel stressed, drained of energy, and unable to think clearly, causing your decisions to become vague and inaccurate. This feeling is especially dangerous in the trading environment because, when tired, your ability to analyze and decide diminishes. You might overlook important signals or make decisions based on intuition, instead of relying on analytical tools and proven strategies. Fatigue increases the risk of making mistakes in trading when you're no longer sharp enough to identify opportunities and challenges. Finally, another powerful sign of cortisol is emotional fluctuations. In trading, psychological fluctuations are inevitable. However, when cortisol levels rise, your emotions become more extreme. You may feel extremely elated when you win big, or extremely disappointed and confused when you lose. These emotions, when left unchecked, lead to irrational decisions as you can't view the situation objectively. These extreme emotions are a clear sign of cortisol's influence, making it difficult for you to remain calm and think clearly. When you recognize these signs, hastiness, anxiety, impatience, fatigue, and emotional fluctuations, it's time to stop and ask yourself if cortisol is controlling your actions. Recognizing these signs is the first step in helping you manage stress, minimize the negative impact of cortisol, and maintain sound decision-making in trading. Once you're aware that you're being influenced, you can take steps such as relaxing, resting, and adjusting your strategy to return to trading with clarity and effectiveness. Part 2. Techniques to reduce cortisol in trading. Reducing cortisol is not an easy task, but if you understand its impact and know how to control it, you will be able to maintain a stable mindset, minimize stress, and make more informed decisions in your trades. Here are several techniques that can help reduce cortisol and improve your trading performance. 1. Create a relaxing space to reduce stress. When you feel stressed during trading, it is essential to create a relaxing space. Prolonged stress can increase cortisol levels in the body, leading to hasty and inaccurate decisions. To minimize this, take a few minutes to relax, even if it's just for a short time. For example, you can turn off your computer screen and perform some deep breathing exercises. A simple breathing exercise is to inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly for 4 seconds. Repeat this 5 to 10 times. This will help relax your body and reduce stress while also lowering cortisol levels. If possible, spend a few minutes outside and breathe fresh air. Small actions like these can help you regain clarity and return to trading with a calmer mindset. 2. Exercise regularly to release stress. Exercise is one of the most effective methods for reducing cortisol. When you exercise, your body releases endorphins, which are hormones that induce relaxation and happiness. Gentle exercises like yoga, brisk walking, or running can help reduce cortisol levels and enhance overall health. Studies have shown that people who regularly exercise have lower cortisol levels. For example, if you are a trader and experience a stressful morning with multiple trades, a 20 to 30-minute walk or run can help relieve stress. This exercise not only helps you unwind, but also helps maintain alertness and focus for your next trading session. Keeping a regular exercise routine also helps you reduce daily stress and recover quickly from trading setbacks. 3. Maintain a proper rest schedule. Sleep plays a crucial role in reducing cortisol. When you don't get enough sleep, cortisol levels in your body will increase, impairing your ability to think and make decisions. Poor or inadequate sleep makes your body stay in a constant state of stress, which is harmful in trading. If you're a trader who works late into the night or stays up late, try adjusting your sleep habits. Getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night will help your body recover and lower cortisol levels. When you get enough sleep, your body has time to regenerate and repair cells, helping you maintain clarity and be prepared for challenges in trading. If you're prone to staying up late, try gradually going to bed earlier each day and creating a quiet sleep environment to help you achieve deeper sleep. 4. Face stress positively. Stress is not always bad. In fact, stress can be a motivator that helps you focus on your work. However, how you cope with stress is what matters. When cortisol levels are high, it's easy to be driven by emotions and make poor decisions. To reduce cortisol, you need to learn how to face stress positively instead of letting it control you. When you face a stressful situation in trading, instead of feeling panic or frustration, try to see it as a natural part of the process. Trading always has its ups and downs, and you need to learn to accept both. A professional trader will not be swayed by minor market fluctuations. Instead, they remain calm, continue to follow their strategy, and do not let emotions influence their decisions. 5. Practice patience and discipline in trading. Patience is a crucial skill to help reduce cortisol in trading. One of the basic principles in trading is to patiently wait for clear signals from the market, rather than rushing into trades without enough evidence. When you have a clear strategy and adhere to discipline, you won't be affected by emotions and cortisol. For example, when you notice a small market fluctuation and feel the urge to act immediately, stop and evaluate the situation carefully. If your strategy doesn't require you to enter a trade at that moment, be patient and wait until the signals become clearer. This helps reduce stress, avoid impulsive trades, and keep cortisol levels in check. These techniques help you minimize the impact of cortisol, thus maintaining a stable mindset and making wise decisions in trading. Managing cortisol is a process that takes time and patience, but if you master it, you'll be able to stay sharp, improve your analytical skills, and manage risk effectively in your trading decisions. 6. The final thought. If you are still trading and can't maintain your calm, or you haven't found a long-term strategy for yourself, perhaps you haven't truly begun yet. Give yourself a chance. Stop, reflect, and ask yourself, am I letting cortisol control my decisions, or am I thinking clearly? Because when you let stress dominate, you will always be caught up in hasty, unstrategic trades. But when you control cortisol, you will truly begin to understand what it means to trade with a long-term mindset. Thank you for listening to this story until the end. If you found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help me keep sharing more in the future. And don't forget to like and share this video with those who are struggling with cortisol-induced stress to learn how to persist and overcome stress in trading.